So they'll be calling you a radical. Sorry about that. Continued. I ran out of storage. Forgot I did that hour-long video of me painting that painting. Where'd you sleep last night? Don't you lie to me. That's the train trestle that goes across the Great Salt Lake. How about all my work on the Great Salt Lake? I mean, nobody's been on it like I have. So I'm trying to transform my yard back into native vegetation. I'm working on it. It's been a struggle. Like I said, Mike Lee kicks me on Medicaid. You know, Kevin, my dad's a Downwinder, he told me. So he sponsors the bill to kill the expansion of the Downwinder bill. I mean, you think that fallout just stopped at the freaking Juab County line? Oh, please. Please. Just, well, you know, and again, I love Mary and her work, but come on. Where was she on Fukushima? It's the litmus test. It's honestly the litmus test. Why did everybody stand down? You know, I was talking to Amy's people last night. Yeah, Goodman. I love her work. I absolutely love her work. But where was she on Fukushima? You know, I know Aaron Matei personally. My daughter from here used to date him here, that, you know, that the incredible artist herself. A lot of people don't know, you know. The Italiano, they think she's from Italy or from San Diego, FIDM. No, she's from here, you know, and so these roots used to go deep and strong and long here. We were anti-nukers, you know. Both those cars wore out fighting the nuclear industry. You know, I've got a pacemaker now. Again, I parlayed mine that bird. I hit the superfecta. And so on chump change, I parlayed that money into well over $1 million, all that Apple and Tesla stock. And the sad thing is Weber State, who went after me in blackballed, who I saved their #1 school business, when Warren Buffett was freaking trying to steal it, I fought him. I fought Warren Buffett so hard trying to save that school. Where'd you sleep? And I asked Mike Lee, well, you know, I just found out my dad's a Downwinder. I prepped his aide in front of that. You know, that's every single politician here, including Senator Romney, who stood with this mega welfare dairy farmer. God, that's the biggest criminal. I've had to watch him drain that freaking incredible marsh right here. Great Salt Lake's right behind. You can hear the train. That's going across the Great Salt Lake right now. So I've called him. So John Curtis is from the same district. He's running for the Senate. I call him John Coltrane Curtis. You know, we're using coal here. We're using coal for electricity. You do know that. In this day and age, when the sun shines all day, every day, it's a no-brainer because of people like John Coltrane Curtis and Mike Lee. Kevin, my dad, just found out my dad's a Downwinder. Yet he's blocking the expansion of the Downwinder bill. I mean, it's the most insane thing I've ever heard, but it just proves that these people are degenerates. And she's the new, you know, puppet. And she is the co-author on this. Oh, my God. You know, and they're Southern Utah people. Are you kidding me? And I don't do opinion. I don't do opinion. As you know, I do the first show positive, and you do the field work. Stay with me. I lived in the East State Bone Marrow Transplant Center for 5 years, off and on, mostly on. Lived there. Marshall Jensen, the most famous leukemia case in America, probably in American history, in the room next to me. Carla Hennessy and Kevin and Carla both got AML de novo in 20. We know the plume from Fukushima hammered right here. We know it. I was working outside on Randy Richards' house, the lawyer who betrayed me. I mean, everybody's turned their back on me because they're afraid of Fukushima. And they thought Fukushima was a hoax. Oh, it's a fucking hoax. Like leukemia. You forgot about these Downwinders. Well, I didn't forget about you. So I lived there. I lived there for 5 years. I don't do opinion. You know, they cover up. So just like Chris Cannon's death, sudden illness. What? Just like the CEO of Exelon, who I fought, who's the guy who orchestrated the ballot on the nuclear reactors in New York, who Kevin Blanch is the one that fought him. Sudden illness. Sudden illness is not a cause of death. Sudden illness is the byproduct of some event. Whether it be a heart attack, whether it be an asthma attack, you know, whether it be a pulmonary aneurysm, you know, whether it be an aneurysm, you know, whether it be, you know, oh, this is sudden. It hit me. I was standing right here when it hit me. I was standing right here when it hit me. And for me to call an ambulance, you know, it just attacked me. I got tumors wrapped around my lower bowel. I was puking up bowel movement out of my mouth. And you could still see the stains on the concrete from that event that night. That's how Utah I am. Heartbreaking. You know, it's been a struggle to stay alive. I don't know how I didn't lose my house. Mike Lee kicked me off Medicaid while I was in the bone marrow transplant center. Fimbo Peterson went crazy. Mike Lee, in 2015, making his idealistic stand against Obamacare, sent our own money back here. I forked over $1 million. I exhausted it. Weaver State could have paid for it all, but they blackballed me. I have more credentials at that university than anyone, including the president. They blackball me, turn their back on me, pull all kinds of freaking bullshit on me because I take on the Wattis. He died of amyloid leukemia. You know, so we call it sudden illness now. And I hope Mia is doing well, but we haven't heard anything. She's kept her fight very quiet. I mean, that's her personal choice. So, and I went as transparent as I could go with mine because I watched my father die. I was the walking, talking encyclopedia on amyloid leukemia before I got it. Fukushima is going to is pluming over. It's going to go. And Barry Antoinette Obama lied to us. March 17th, 2011. He stood in the White House. I never promised you on St. Patrick's Day. The plume is coming over us right now. Scientists said there's no need to take precautions. It's not radioactive. Arnie Gunderson ended up being the expert witness. Now, Hill of Utah, Matt's quit. I'm one of the founders of Hill of Utah. It was an anti-nuclear movement. They hijacked that whole movement. They actually brought Arnie Gunderson in for a case. He just lost that case. He's not a scientist. He's an insider in the nuclear industry. It's a hydrogen blast, and I had to kick him off my site. Helen Keller, who's a book writer, her own husband calls her the secondhand movie star. That's not my words. Says that the Japanese are tidy people. They cleaned it up. Chris Busby, he's not a scientist. He says the Pacific Ocean is a big place. These people they portrayed as Dyson, who's a theoretical physicist made for TV. Bill Nye, theoretical. I mean, these people are made for TV. They're not scientists. Where's your field work? Where's your field work? And you're going to run to Mary as your expert. And I love Mary, don't get me wrong. But where was she on Fukushima? You know, we're all downwinders now. Mike Lee tells me right to my face. Again, Olin Walker grew up right there. You know, I used to walk to school right there in that Leslie Hodson masterpiece. Frank Lloyd Wright, incredible masterpiece. They tore down. 12th Street wasn't even here when I was a kid. Grew up here on this incredible marsh. Watch this mega welfare dairy freaking creep and dump 1,200 cows, 1,800 cows worth of nuclear waste in it every day. Exploit. We're backhand a worker in the face. This guy's over 300 pounds for asking for us and no charges. He was charged with assault. Nothing. What is this? I don't get it. He doesn't have money. You know what is it? Some connected clique? I don't get it. You know, and so they sponsor a bill, Mike Lee and her, your representative of that very district, to just extend it to and block the expansion, which the Senate passed. You know, it's irony because Crapo sponsored it from Idaho, and yet he's the guy that's bringing in all the nuclear waste at Idaho National Lab. How about all my work at Idaho National Lab? I'm the world's foremost expert. It's unarguable. The world's foremost expert. Where'd you sleep last night? You know, all my work that I've done, so they blackballed me. You know, nobody wants the truth. The state of Utah has turned their back on their own. They're red-winged blackbirds. They're nesting right there in this site. I mean, they've had to figure. I had a blue herring living right there in this drain ditch because there's nowhere to go. Where's all the jackrabbits used to be here? They're gone. How about the muskrats? Gone. This is just post-Fukushima. I mean, they were declining, but not like this. Huh. All my work, historic work, and you turn your back on me. So Mike Lee, who I talked to and I asked personally, but you know, I just found out my dad's a downwinder. His dad died young. And he calls his own father a downwinder. Well, do you think Mike Lee got compensation on that package? I'll guarantee he did. Somebody needs to dive into this. What did I get? Kevin Blanchard is working. My father, no cancer in his family. Right there. Grew up in that little pink houses for you. All his family, big family, no cancer in that family. No. He was the healthiest one of them all by far. Like, what a beast, what an athlete. My grandsons are in mine. They're named after him. Born in 2011. So I've named this painting, sitting out here letting it dry a little bit in the sun. I got to get it covered up because I don't want the red to fade. You know, Frank Stella did those great paintings on the, Holocaust. They're incredible. And so this one I in honor because Frank just passed, and I did it exactly the way Frank did it, the same way, and I didn't even know. It's intuitive mind. But I'm not a fan of Frank Stella's, you know, assembly line art that he turned into, like Warhol, you know, other artists doing his work. I don't like it, but his early work, you know, I call this the Middle East of Eden. You know, the artists have to paint at the time is the event at the time. Jackson Pollock, who grew up right there in Cody, Wyoming. They blocked this bill, and they're southern. I mean, at the same time, Chris Cannon just passed away, who was that district. Now, I don't know, sudden illness. Sudden illness is not a cause of death. Sudden illness is the byproduct of something. Well, why don't you tell us what it was? It's like the, you know, Axelrod and Rahm Emanuel's, the CEO of First Energy, who fought me. This whole bank bailout, the corruption and NuScale, everything. He's the guy that orchestrated the bailout in New York. Exelon bought those reactors in New York, 9 Mile Island, fucking Gianni, you know, Fitzpatrick. They were shut. They were done. Exelon bought those corrupt as hell. I mean, so corrupt it's unbelievable. I'm the guy that fought. He just died of sudden illness. Now, they're not about, if it, I don't know what it was, but if it was AML leukemia, wouldn't that be what a story? Because, you know, I've told them all to their face, I hope you don't get cancer. Mike Lee to his face. Mike, I still believe in you, but, well, I just found out. And the only reason he said that is because I prepped him. I prepped his aide. I said, I don't want to play a gotcha. The Olin Walker Foundation, I'm going to be the first question up. You know, and you think that's a coincidence? I'm the first question up. I'm the first speaker up, and all the San Onofre shut down. By the way, the San Onofre waste is here. That incredible footage of the hot reactor coming into that's mine. You won't get no other. Now, who's the media? So, I mean, it blows my mind. You think that's coincidence? I'm the keynote speaker in all these hearings, just like when I asked Mike Lee. You know how you think that just happens? That's called credibility earned from the insiders. The people that run the anti-nuclear movement, the people that run the show, the thing that are in California, oh, they know I'm the world's first man. They don't just say, oh, okay, you're first. Here, it's just, let's have a lottery. You think I'm first? When it was the Olin Walker, that takes years and years and years of connections and hard work and credibility. Oh, I've earned my credibility. You know, and I love Mary. Don't get me wrong. I think, you know, especially the old school Utah Downwinder thesis, but she dropped the ball on Fukushima. Everybody did, but were they told to? KSL from hell? The fuck there. That's not news. That's imperialist puppetism. It's disgusting what's happened. And you don't think I'm connected in the academia circle. You know who my auntie, who grew up right there. She never got married. Her last name's Blanche. May Blanche, the famous English professor at BYU. They're going to name the building from what I hear after. You know, that's my auntie who grew up right there. She's Kevin. She used to, I was really young. She knew what I was. She's like, you come to BYU and get in my program, I'll be the meanest, toughest professor you ever had. I'm not afraid. But I didn't go to BYU. My grandpa, Abraham Hunsaker IV, and this is important because Abraham Hunsaker I, his picture is on this golden spike. Now, who do you think orchestrated that? Yeah. I'm Abe the Fourth's grandson. That's the statue at Old Town. That's the thing. He's the new Golden Spike Monument that's going up in Brigham City, right by Abe the Fourth's house, by the way. You think that's the work that I do behind the scenes? Fucking staggering. So Mike Lee and these puppets, I can't believe Mike. I mean, he blows on Kevin. I cannot overstate this. I just found out my father's a downwinder. Oh boy. Are you gonna flip your fucking soup can? I should. Where'd you sleep last night? Don't you lie to me. Trying to put this back together. People don't realize, I don't know how everything went to shit. Of course everything went to shit. When the freight train hit you, you know, and the freight train hit me, called AML leukemia. I was standing right here to this square inch. I'm like, oh, what the fuck is this? I was working in my yard. And 2011, I'm like, what the fuck is this? Oh my God. Just a stomach ache. It'll pass. I fought it for about 10, 15. And finally, I started a puke bowel movement out of my mouth. And for me to call an ambulance, I got to tell this story because this story is so incredible. So I ended up in the hospital, and the doctor, Natalie Farr, who lives right there, she was my radiologist technology. She's the one that scanned me that night. She has recently passed away. She ended up being one of my nurses at LDSC. I grew up with her. I love her. She's passed away tragically recently, young. So, that's what we do here in Utah, right? I mean, Dean died of leukemia in 2016 right there. He wasn't that old. Carolyn died right there of AML leukemia. 70-something, 73, I believe. I mean, that's what we do here. Eugene right there at 38, you know. And he's driving around here spraying freaking chemicals, backhanding a market worker on a 300-pounder versus 150-pounder. And KSL reports it as an altercation. And altercation, that's hardcore fucking assault. That's human trafficking from houses full of. By the way, Blake Moore and me and him are going to have it out. I know Blake Moore's parents and his, right there. They're related to that house that the exploited labor was in. That's relatives of theirs that own that house. Oh yeah, this is how connected I am here. Try me, Utah thesis. Me and Blake Moore's going to have it out. So, anyway, of course, it's better than this Gibson character who was running. Talk about corruption. How are those two brothers? Oh my God. I mean, they've committed thousands of felonies. So, they're sponsoring this bill. I lived in the East State Bone Marrow Transplant Unit. I don't do opinion. George, are going to let me tend them fucking rabbits. Somebody graffitied your house, Blanche. Well, I thought maybe you had a son in the military. What the fuck are you talking about? Those are orange fucking ribbons. I'm fighting leukemia. Turn your fucking back on me. You know, 7th generation. That's okay. That's okay. I'm inside the bone marrow transplant unit for 5 years. I'm still connected to this day. Of course I'm connected. It doesn't just go away. I had ML de Novo, had 3 heavy rounds of chemo, and they thought I was going to die. So we decided not to have the bone marrow transplant. I walked the entire coast of California documenting the event and fighting back. I mean, think about the work I did while full of cancer. Mike Lee kicks me out of Medicaid while I'm in there, after I forked over $1 million. You don't think that's a tempt? Oh, fuck. Even John Huntsman Sr. come out and says, we're going to run my son against you. I'll tell you what a clique this. How's this guy in this clique? Well, his mother was a Bennett. Yeah, maybe that's it. I think probably I'm right. Don't step on me. Don't step on me. I'm a B at PB. Don't tread on me. Don't tread on me. They're treading all over you with nuclear fire. What about Fukushima? You know, we know that there was a spike in cancer in 2011 right here. We know it. I don't do opinion. I live there. I'm still connected. You go into the LDS East State Bone Marrow Transplant on Renegade, which is the #1 leukemia unit around here, by far. Well over half of the people in that unit are from freaking Southern Utah. Nancy was in there, the world-class triathlete. I says, Nancy, you moved to Moab to train. You know how radio. She says, I didn't know then. I know now, Kevin. Any given day when they make up, what, 5% of the Utah population? Yeah, over 50% of them are in there from Southern Utah. But we're not going to expand this? How about, Johnny, I was in there with 3 different people from Arco, Idaho. 3. Idaho National Lab. You know, they had an accident there. Crapo. 3 that died of leukemia while I was, they all died. Everybody that I'm talking about has passed to the next place. I fight for them. You know, my doctor says, you're the biggest miracle I've ever seen. I'm in the 1% study. How do you survive? They ask me all the time. I tell them walking, luck. The Shoshone here call me so good. Red-winged blackbird's my favorite. They've drained off the marsh back there illegally and got away with it, poisoned it. That dumps right into the Great Salt Lake right there. And you wonder why these botulism in the ducks, when they're dumping 1,800. I talked to the engineer. Let's get back to it before you get going. LDS. Any given day, well over 50% are in there from Southern Utah. That's an unarguable fact. I don't do opinion. I live there. We have to have field work. You have to have observational work to be a real PhD. Talk about field work and observational work. That train's headed across the Great Salt Lake right there. Talk about we were taught right there at that school is the 8th wonder of the world. Those trusses. I used to go out there. I have a base made out of it. I got some of the timbers from it. You know, I got a little bit of the decking, very little. Everybody wanted that. That old growth redwood decking. The guy who was tearing that out, his tugboat. Right at the end, you know, he drowned. Yeah, right. He drowned. You can't drown in the Grand Salt Lake. Of course you can drown in the Great fucking Salt Lake. So I grew up on this lake and this marsh here in San Diego and Pacific Beach. Our family's been in Pacific Beach since 1847. You know, the Golden Spike, he's the second one down. Right under, and by the way, which is irony, Abraham Lincoln's right there. The Tracy side of Delia and Myra. Tracy's my grandmother. Moses Tracy's granddaughter. That bloodline, she used to always tell me, Kevin, we were early colonials. Direct bloodlines to Abraham Lincoln and Hamilton. And what's his name? The first U.S. Supreme Court justice that got deported twice. Yeah, what was his name? This is how connected I am here in Utah. I mean, I could write hundreds of books about this here. And this mega welfare Dairy Queen. So when the early Mormons came here on this little lane, they're the first ones here. The Shoshone lived here. I used to play in the wigwams. You know, I remember asking my grandma, what are they're people's houses? What are you talking about? And then I learned, you know, the Shoshone used to call me Soso Goya and the Shoshone. Some call themselves Shoshone, some call it, you know. When they played, there used to be these two giant apple trees right there. Plums, asparagus they brought with them and planted in 1857. This mega welfare dairy who claims he's so connected with this prominent religion. When my dad died, he tried to go after and take my mom's house to steal the family little lane there. Had to sue him, had to fight him. I mean, these people were monsters. I come home one day and he's got a piece of equipment down there. Stephen, that used to live right up there. I says, you don't own this, and he tore it out behind. Oh, we got into it. Oh, he tried to backhand me then. It didn't work out too good with her, and he double. You don't want to try backhand me. He tried to do it right there in my driveway. He come right in my driveway and tried to assault me. You don't want to try to assault me. Not going to work out well for you even now. Dynamite comes in small packages. You don't want to try to assault me. Go ask him. Think you've been fighting a bully? You don't think that dude's a bully? Try fighting AML leukemia. I'll show you a fucking bully. You don't even know a fucking bully. You don't know a bully. Where'd you sleep last night? Don't you fucking lie to me. He tore him out. So I went down there and we got into it. And Stephen, who was running the crowd, I says, you can't blame he, you know, he got stupid with me. I says, do you know he got AML leukemia right after that and died? These people are so disrespectful. So, I don't know where their dogma, their political thesis, Mike Lee, comes from. I went to Weber State one day and he was standing, his brother, with Mike Lee. I'm like, what the fuck? This is the corruption. Remember, he had no college degrees. He was head of the RNC, the Natural Resources Department, which is over the Department of Environmental Quality. Fox in charge of foxes in charge of chickens. Don't you tread on me. Don't you tread on me. I'm a bee at PB. I'm a bee at PB. Don't you tread on me. They're treading all over you. Don't you see that, Mike Lee? Don't tread on me, Mike Lee. Don't tread on me, Mike Lee. Kick me on Medicaid? I'll get right back to you, Kevin. You look at that. I mean, it's so historic, and I knew it was historic. I've asked every single politician here in the state of Utah, every single one of them, about Fukushima, about the energy solution. I've had energy solution kicked out of here. Where'd you sleep last night? Don't you lie to me. Don't you lie to me, girl. Where'd you sleep last night? Don't you remember, Kevin? Don't you remember? Don't you remember? I slept next to you. I slept next to you in the bone marrow transplant unit at the top of LDS. I'm dead, Kevin. I'm in heaven. I loved Carla. Her and I, everybody used to call us Kevin and Carla, Kevin and Carla. She's from here. Beautiful, young, AML de novo, which presented tumors. Lord, I remember. Lord, I remember. Way up in the top of East 8, way up Furman High. They've all passed. I'm the last one alive. Well, Brian Morris is in front of me. He's an old school connected Utah. He's alive. He's a beast. Me and him stay in contact. Marshall's dead. Remember KSL did all those parties? Marshall Jensen up at his house, whatever. Love Marshall. He's only 27 years old, a young child. He got cancer at the exact same time. Well, all of them did. 2011. Fall of 2011. Don't go outside. Cheryl Mills's emails are going out. Barack Obama's aide. The exact same time Obama's saying it's not radioactive. One of the greatest lies in human history. He knew full well. Cheryl Mills' emails, which got leaked. I wonder who did that. Aaron Swartz, Kevin Blanchard, Chemo and Balco. All that work I did in New York for all those years. If you've been outside, wash your clothes, take a shower, get some iodine tablets. Do not go outside if you haven't been. The plume is coming out. It's radioactive. It hammered right here. We know that for a fact now. If Kevin Blanchard was right, you know, the greatest cover-up in human history. Why are we covering up Fukushima, Mike Lee? Oh, I'll get to Senator Wyden. Senator Wyden, who I used to talk to via email constantly, went to Fukushima several times. I went over there and I found out it was even worse than I thought. Then he won't even email. They classify Kevin Blanch. Go ahead. So, what'd you sleep last night? I've left the dead pine. You know, it's going to come down here soon. It's been a metaphor in my yard for what happened to us. It's been I don't know how I've done it. I don't know how I'm still alive. So, Mike Lee and her sponsor bill to leave it the way it is, which is a joke, after Congress passed a bill to expand it. You take Fukushima and then let this mega welfare. I videoed and sent it. The EPA interviewed me right there. Gil Claude Blanche, the famous fighter pilot. He's the most decorated fighter pilot in the history of the Western United States. He's the famous fighter pilot, you know. The first shirt, the chemist at BYU, the famous. He was the first shirt in Japan for all those years. Yeah. I interviewed him. That's my uncle. The EPA interviewed me and Claude right there. He was a valedictorian at BYU in chemistry. Five letters in sport. 5. The world-class decathlete. He just passed away. I stroke. They interviewed us right there about this spray rig. They had a spray rig, this mega welfare dairy, and they're driving it around this road. We don't even know what it is, and I sent it to the EPA. I sent it to the Department of... Well, oh, his brother was running it with no degrees? How is that even possible? Oh, God. Important video. You run to Mary, and I don't get me wrong, I love Mary, but come on. She's not an expert. I mean, I know her sister passed away of this horrible disease. I get that. But the litmus test is Fukushima. You don't think we're downwinders from Fukushima? And the lies that Barack... And then Trump, their Lord and Savior, doubles down on the lie. Trump met with a B 17 times, including Mar-a-Lago. I was there. I was at the White House the night of the election. Don't tread on me. Don't tread on me. I'm a B at PB. Don't tread on me. Don't tread on me. I'm a B at PB. I was there. I took the bus in the middle of the night to New York. I was at Trump Towers when a B came in there. The first person he meets with is that B. They block out the windows at Mar-a-Lago. I talked to one of the transition teams. He's talking like this, MPB. I have so many connections in PB San Diego. I'm connected with everybody and everything. Like I said, you think it's a coincidence? I'm the keynote speaker on all these things. I'm right up there first. I've asked everybody, including Mitt Romney, who announced his candidacy for Senate right there at that mega. What connection is there? Well, there's obviously some kind of... They Masonics? I don't think so. I don't know what the connection... How can he be connected? Because he has no money. He has hundreds of millions of dollars debt. He's an earth poisoner. Does the connection just go through bloodlines? Well, what about my bloodlines, if that's the case? I'm Abraham Hunsaker the Fourth himself's grandson. Honest. You think that's a coincidence? I'm the first guy up in the Senate ever, and then I go sleep on the beach in my fucking sleeping bag? What a story. Without Kevin Blanch's cancer and my fight from the top of LDS, Sin and Upgrade never shuts down. From 619 to 80118. The nuclear waste from Sin and Upgrade is right here. Who do you think shot that historic video? They were keeping it secret. I could write a whole book just on that day. You know, the cops harassing me, but I'm friends with the one cop out there, the highway patrol on the Utah side, because all my work at Energy Solutions. And he told me one day when they nightstick me, you know, when I was full of cancer. He says, you want to sue them? You want to splash that? No, fuck them. You know, they wouldn't have anyway. I says, they won't do anything in Utah. Just like this guy. They won't do anything. He's riding a spray rig right here, full right on top of me. I don't even let my grandkids out here, and they're 9th generation Ogden, Utah. It's poison. It's poison. You mix this round or whatever they're spraying, the Bayer Monsanto toxic poisons they spray constantly. You mix it with some freaking nuclear fallout. Oh, you got a recipe. Everybody on the streets fucking died of cancer. I told the EPA that. I've went to the EPA with video content proving. The state engineer, the county engineer, Weber County, the most corrupt place in the world. He told me, he says, yeah, well, you're right, Kevin. All your ranting and raving your videos. We took a canoe and we went along the river. And just like you said, he's dumping right over there. There's a big pit where he just dumps it in and it's seeping right into the river. You can see it oozing out of the side. We videoed it, took pictures of it, dumping right into the Great Salt Lake. So where are you going to post those videos? Well, not. Well, why? So what are you going to do about it? So who's at fault? This guy for doing it? Oh, yeah. Or the state of Utah for allowing it. Why would they blackball Kevin Blanch? Why would they blackball me? Go talk to Fimbo Peterson. Go talk to Vincent Hansen, my doctors. Go have a conversation. I'm a B, I'm a B, I'm a B. I'm a B. I'm trying to, oh, look what we got here. Lucky video, right? Come on, Mike. I'm a B, I'm a B. At PB, they're treading all over me. They're treading all over me. Don't tread on me. Don't tread on me. They're treading all over you, the nuclear industry. Where'd you sleep last night? Well, so Mike Lee, my dad's a downwinder. We just found out. He said it. You wouldn't even know that if it wasn't for Kevin Blanch. You wouldn't know that hot generator coming in here. I videoed it if it wasn't for Kevin Blanch. All this work that I've done. Yay, we want SMRs. The SMR, the new scale sham. The only one fighting it. They ripped us off hundreds of $1 million out of our bill. Bill Gates owns Rocky Mountain Park. That's, we're still using coal because of John Coltrane, Curtis, and friends, and Mike Lee. But you're all in on this. You don't think I got skin in this game? Go talk to my doctors. Where'd you sleep last night, girl? Don't you lie to me. I slept in the East State Bone Marrow Transplant Center next to you. Don't you remember? Oh, sure, I'm dead. I mean, I fight for those people. I love those people. Those people mean everything to me. The people that I was in there. Carla, Marshall, Nancy, all those people that I was in there and that acute radical that have all passed away. Who's going to defend them? Who's going to fucking defend them? Mike Lee? Mike Lee's father? Mia Love? All these people, my dad, freaking all these people. Who's going to defend them? Oh, I am. I am. And I'm a fool to do your fucking dirty work. Don't you remember, Kevin? I'm dead. I'm in heaven. Lord, I remember. Lord, I remember. How could I forget? Lord, I remember. Way up firm and high. Stand tuned.